From here on out, every foul is flagrant, boy. Let's go. What's up? Game in the chokehold, more balls than Esco. All right, maybe
you are now tuned into the chat room, your favorite baller's favorite podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Chatroom Podcast. I am the Senator, and with me today I got Essay.
Yo.
Got Coach.
What it do, y'all? What it do?
And this one is going to be a dope collab episode. We got the gentlemen of the Black Sand Podcast. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
What's good, Sham? Grade 5 dropout in Saudi Arabia by way of Toronto. I got my partner with me, Mike.
What's going on? It's Mike on IG. If Mike was here, from New York, but I'm here in Abu Dhabi chilling. What's up, man?
What up?
Shout out the Heights.
You got to switch it up on the second one, right?
I got the shirt too. I forgot. I just rep without even knowing, you know?
For sure.
Got the neighborhoods on here.
So we're just going to jump right into it. So
right.
Meek dropped his album, and it's been one of those, everyone was waiting to talking about heavyweights that were dropping, and everyone, once Drake and Kanye dropped, everyone automatically just skipped over and said, when's Kendrick dropping? Because Cole already dropped. It's pretty weird that everyone forgot that Meek and Wale are kind of in that same, that there might be a tier below, but they're still heavyweights when it comes to album sales. So Meek dropped his album Expensive Pain. Did you guys hear it?
I didn't
know. I definitely heard it. I definitely heard it, but when you talk about heavyweights, I don't think you could put Meek. He lost to Drake, you know what I mean? So I don't think he's in that.
He lost to Drake's writing team. That's what he did.
No matter
whatever it is, he lost. He lost.
That's why I made that correction and said they might be the tier below, right? Like they're not heavyweights. They might be light heavyweights, but Meek and Wale is supposed to be dropping at the end of this month. So
yes, I mean, I could say for Meek Mills, I haven't been checking for him in a while. Like, he's great for a hit or two. He's gonna give you that street anthem. One of his songs on there, the song called "Expensive Pain," hardest track on the album. That track is hard. But then switching over to Wale. Wale is nice. He's always been nice. But you know what it is? His personality just messed him up with the media. I'm a huge Wale fan, so
ever since they mistaken him for Drake, or they said he's not.
Yeah, that's the game, right? Huh? That was crazy. Yeah, he's always part of everyone's jokes, man. But Wale can spit though.
He can.
Yeah, he gonna give you
spit.
Except on that track with Cole though, the vibrant thing.
Yeah.
Track.
To me, I think like Cole's album just kind of came and went though, you know, like put him in the as you know, the Sixth God and Kanye, but you know, no one's checking for Cole right now. It's kind of weird to me.
I'll be honest with you. I have Cole's album as one of my top 5 albums of the year. I still go back to that one at this point right now. I have
King's Disease
Cole.
2.
I have King Disease 2. I also have Pyrex Picasso, Benny the Butcher, up there for the hip hop one. Honestly, Drake and Kanye's was the one that came and went for me.
They're all right.
Oh no,
they're mid city, man.
Wait, hold on. Wait, this is all I'm hearing. This is all Toronto chat, huh?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay. So I gotta know where the music.
Hey, usually Toronto people like they worship the Drake. Yeah. But I think Certified Lazy Boy, man. It was mid. It was forgettable.
Listen, you can't say that when the man had 9 tracks on the top 10 Billboard.
No one cares about that top 10.
You can't say that.
Can't say that,
too
sexy.
I'm surprised.
9 out of 10, bro. You can't say that. He's hitting.
Man.
I'm surprised none of y'all mentioned
TikTok awards,
none of y'all mentioned Tyler the Creator.
I was about to say that, but you guys cut me off.
Tyler the Creator.
That's 4th on my list.
I got him as 1. The album is hard.
It's up there. I think for me, it's just the type of tracks that I usually listen to. Like Tyler is you got to be in some sort of that type of mood to listen to Tyler. You know what I mean? Like the J. Cole, I have it on warm-ups before I play games. Like I go back to that. Like the Pyrex Picasso, when I'm driving, I'm blasting that like straight out the whip. Like it's not even a thing. Tyler's up there. Tyler has some tracks on that album, and that's
it was crazy. And I'm not a Tyler fan at all. And he won me over with this one. Because before you would have put anything Tyler, I'll skip right over it.
The one before that was actually really good too. So
no, it was good too. Yeah,
the last two drops for Tyler have been up there.
You're right. Yeah.
I got a question too. You said you play off season before games, right?
Yeah.
Is it because the album's fire? Are you inspired by J. Cole's overseas career?
It's not always basketball. So.
Points a game.
My career, definitely. Hey, give him credit. He got invited to Magic's camp, so out there running with them boys. So give him credit. But
Magic Johnson, Hollywood's camp.
No, Orlando Magic. He was there.
Wasn't it? I think Detroit. It was the Pistons. Was it?
I mean, yeah,
he was an actual NBA.
It was Magic. Because Terrence Ross posted it.
Him showing up to a camp. I mean, that's just for
he's just visiting Disneyland and he did a stopover.
Some Instagram likes and all that, trying to get some notoriety,
Yeah.
What do y'all think was better, King's Disease 1 or 2?
Oh,
I have
2's fire though, man.
I got 1.
I'm indifferent right now.
I think I replayed 2 more than I replayed
1 week it'll be 1, the next week it might be 2. What'd you say, Seth?
I replayed 2 more than I replayed 1, but one was I had to go back because like I did not listen to it because of everyone hyping it the way how it was at first. Like when it first dropped, right? Like everyone was like, yo, this is a classic, all this stuff. I never go to, unless I hear the album first, I never go when somebody tells me like an album is a classic or anything, because then you're listening it to the ears from other people, and I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
So I let it pass, and then I went back to it, and I was like, okay, I understand why everyone said what they said. King Disease 2, I listened to it as soon as it dropped, and I was like, okay, like great follow-up to the first one.
I call it contemporary rap. It's just like I'm grown now. I don't want to be listening to just anything. So it's just a nice little vibe to chill out with. So hip hop's growing up, and that's what I really mess with. I can't really get over the Tyler the Creator antics outside of rap. Like it makes it hard for me to even attempt to listen to that. You know what I mean? But like,
you gotta give it a try. That's it.
I'm good. I'm good with Nas. I'm good with Nas. You know what I mean?
Yo.
Another one that surprised me is Lil Wayne. I think he got it back. Lil Wayne got it back. I don't know.
MAGA Wayne's got it back.
He's
what is it? The Wayne
right now. For sure. He's a feature king right now. Like he has no misses right
now. No, but he has an album with Rich the Kid. I don't know why he put Rich the Kid on the album. They did a joint album together. It sounds like just a Wayne album.
It sounds like Lil Wayne was in the studio. Rich the Kid came in and said, yo, you're my idol. Can I do like 10 tracks with you? And then they just recorded it all at one session. And then that was the album they put out. Like I listened to it. It dropped on Friday. And I was like, this is the weirdest pair of people on an album. Like this was not the collab album that the streets were asking for. So I think it got overlooked, but no, Wayne's back being Wayne.
Wayne's back.
Rich the Kid did not need to be on the album.
Exactly.
He killed Drake. He killed Drake on his own track too.
Oh, he's going crazy right now. He's going crazy. Yeah. He's having that Ludacris Busta feature run right now. So
I think you gotta name this episode "Certified Lazy Boy." That was a good one.
Exactly.
But hey, no Drake slander from
that's Drake slander from
we try. Yeah, we try our hardest not to put slander as the name of the title. We did it 2 episodes ago with our episode called "Send Him to Houston" because we were talking about Ben Simmons. But yeah, no. All right, so let's.
I thought it was a Drake diss. I thought it was a Drake diss.
No.
You have it. No. Let's talk about Drake's
All right. So last quick question for everyone. What is the most expensive purchase that you've made?
A house.
But I want it to be the most. I want it to be the most ridiculous, expensive purchase that you've made.
Oh snap!
I'll go first. Friggin', I bought this damn dog. That was like $3,000.
You bought a what?
You bought a dog for $3,000.
Yeah.
What kind of dog is it?
A dog. It was a prog rider. So like, they're only like they look like mini Doberman pinchers. But like they're really small and they're hypoallergenic, whatever. So like they don't shed that much.
You bought a Kardashian dog?
Basically.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Basically.
Coach Francis had a Kardashian dog.
Still have him right now. Still have him. Yeah, still have him.
You better have for $3,000.
$3,000. Yeah, it was like $3,000, bro. Like that's like, and I got him like 4 years ago. So yeah, that's definitely the wildest purchase I've ever made. Like as a high school kid, we had the episode earlier where we talked about credit cards and stuff. Like I got a credit card thinking that it was free money, so I washed that off. Like,
oh, you waxed that?
Yeah, I rinsed that in like 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, terrible.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely my dog for sure.
And I'll tell you mine. Like it was a Formula One weekend, and this is Mike's fault actually. So, we're hanging out. We went to one spot. Mike had the drink, so I was like, all right, next round's on me. We go through the spot. Tyga couldn't get in. Remember that, Mike? Tyga couldn't get in, and we're like, what the hell is going on?
Cipriani's. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't plug them. Shit, don't plug them. Akon was in there. Roger Mason was in there. Like A-list, B-list, C-list, everybody was in there. So we get to the bar now. I was like, all right, Mike, whatever you got last time, just order it again. And out here, we get a ding on our phone every time you make a purchase. And it was 1,500 dirhams, which is 500 Canadian dollars. I'm like, what the fuck do you order, bro? Like,
what you mean a drink now? My drink wasn't that much.
Bro, you do not remember? It was that bulletin bully shit. Remember that? What's that whiskey called?
What's it? It's called Bullet? No, it wasn't. Not for a shot of that, man.
Bro, it was F1 weekend. It was F1 weekend. They had all this. Yo, you know that old Indian dude that does memes? He was in the spot.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah.
Oh, that dude.
Crazy.
Yeah, so they had absolutely everybody in there. Hit me right over. You don't remember this story because it didn't come out your bank account, man. It was like
I remember. You ain't tell me. You didn't tell me,
bro. Right on the spot,
friend, man. Yo, I missed you back here, man.
I was in my feelings for about an hour though. I can't even lie about it. You went up to the bartender. You're like, wait a second, how much was this? Like you definitely knew about it, but that was the dumbest shit ever. I mean, next time I'm around A, B, C, D list celebrities, I gotta ask the price before I buy it.
For sure.
That was a good night though, man. I don't even remember how much we spent.
That's one of those, man. I was tight because that's a flight. Like in the Middle East, you can fly anywhere for $500, and that's what I spent on one drink on a night out with. If Mike was here, you know what I mean? Like that's a what. I'll tell you one thing: that you could definitely have a good time in Dubai, but then you could have an expensive time if you hang out with Mike. That's for sure.
It's gonna be fun though. Yeah, I mean, for me, my most expensive, what is a ridiculous gift? Probably what is that? I bought a Bell and Ross watch. It was like $3,000 or $4,000 or something like that. And I'm not really a watch guy, but I fell into the hype and like I could have got a Rolex probably for like 4,000, 5,000, which I don't like Rolexes. So the Bell and Ross watch, like I got the Heritage watch, which that's the one that I thought that I liked the most. I spent that. I bought that watch, and I ended up breaking the watch like probably a year after because it dropped, and then the back piece cracked. I didn't know, and I went swimming with it because that watch was like a diver's watch and all that, rusted on the inside and all that. So literally in less than a year, I was like 3K, 4K gone. And then I just ended up buying the Apple Watch. I wear the Apple Watch every day, swim with it, run with it. You know what I mean? Change up the band. It looked nice. Got the little bracelet. I'm like, man, I'm not a watch. And I spend money on other things, but I'm not a watch guy, you know?
For sure. That's it.
Yeah.
Now I see why y'all like the album Expensive Pain. This is some real expensive pain. Mine's not as crazy as a Kardashian dog or, you know, bottles in a celebrity spot or a non-waterproof Rolex. Mine is like, so I was chilling. I got introduced to these like high rollers, right? And, you know, I was vibing. I was connecting with them and I was networking. So they are like all like, oh, come, you'll keep the conversation going. We're going to STK. Now, for everybody who knows STK, it's not like your typical $20-$30 steak, right? No. Yeah. So I don't know. We did shots before we went to STK, right? And I was also high, and I didn't realize how strong the stuff I was on. So I misheard one of the guys saying, "Order what you want. It's on the house," or something like that. I don't know how I misunderstood it, but it sounded. I thought he meant like he works here, he has a connection, so go ham. So I went ham. I got the craziest surf and turf with like lobster, like I went ridiculous, and I go like Tom Collins, all that shit. I'm balling, right? So the bill comes back, okay, and I look, bro. It's I spent like $750 in food. So I'm like, I just slide it over, and I'm like, all right, cool. Dude's like, yo, what's up? You good? Oh. And I'm like, yo, I thought you said it's on the house. He's like, no, I said we're going to a steakhouse. Oh. I'm like,
wait, but what's everybody else ordering?
Huh? Oh no, they were nobody. I was the one going to most. Someone ordered like a $500 plate. Everybody is mostly this is drinks. It was shots of like, I think someone bought an ace of spade. Like it was crazy, right? And I'm trying to keep up too. That's another thing too. I'm trying to keep up with these guys, right? Because I don't want to look like no punk, and it's on the house. Yeah. So yeah, let's just say like I had to walk home. I had to walk home. I had to call it some quick favors. I had to walk.
You know it's the worst. STK isn't even that good. The food isn't that good.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the worst. That's what I'm
saying. I'm thinking that why is everyone making a big deal? But I don't care because it's on the house. Yeah, that's my most ridiculous. So listening skills, that's key.
I was really trying to think about the answer to this question, and I buy a lot of small dumb stuff. So I don't really buy like go ridiculous. But the most ridiculous thing I probably bought was I paid $250 for a bottle of Smirnoff in the club. And
what?
And I bought two bottles, a bottle of Moet and a bottle of Smirnoff, and it came up to $450. And I said, yo, how much is the Smirnoff? And they said $250. So I was like, wait, the Smirnoff costs less than the Moet? And this is like maybe like 12 years ago, something like that. And I was so confused. I probably had one shot out of both bottles,
good Lord,
which made it even worse. Like it was, yeah. That's probably like my most expensive purchase, to tell you the truth.
You know, it's hurting me.
Hold on. Wait, did it activate the section though?
That's what I'm saying.
Did it work?
So here's the thing. So
valid question. That's a valid question.
So I did it for my birthday, right? So we got down to the place, and the place usually was popping, but then it turns out that the place was closing down in like 2 weeks. So nobody was showing up at that place. So everybody that was in the club, except for maybe 20 people, were all my people already. So $450. So it made it even worse because it was only really at that point, it was only my people in the club. And there was probably about 80 of my people in the club at that time. And then over the night, it probably got to maybe 100, maybe 110 of people that actually in the club. So it wasn't worth it, but you know,
Smirnoff for $250 is never worth it.
I don't even drink vodka anymore. That's the worst part.
It still beats my $500 for 2 shots random night.
That is true.
I'm taking those 2 bottles for sure.
That is valid. Coach.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, just kind of just jumping into everything, man. Like we got 2 gentlemen here. Kind of talk to us, or like let's talk about like what is passive income, and why is it important to have multiple streams of like passive income?
All right, so I'll jump into this, Mike, and because kind of like alludes to like my personal philosophy, and I think I kind of belong to. Mike thinks it's a little bit lame, but it's called the FIRE philosophy, FIRE way of living. So, financial independence, retire early, and part of retiring early is sacrificing certain things, but also becoming very conscious of where your money is going. So, I work, make a good salary, but the plan is to make your money work. So it's passive because your money's doing all the hard work while you get to chill out. So there's a few plays that I do. I'm into real estate and ETF. So I play the total stock market. But my man Mike over here, he likes his individual stocks. So he has some home runs, but my philosophy is just trying to get on base every single time I'm at bat. So that's what I do when I purchase my ETFs. I buy, it's called the S&P 500. So I buy into the top 500 companies in America. And yeah, Apple, Tesla, Ford, every company you guys could probably name, any big company is part of this portfolio that I purchase. So it's passive because it does all the work while I get to sit back and relax. So the last year or so, I started doing a bit more, I guess diversifying a bit more. I started getting into private lending. So, the housing market in Toronto has gone bonkers. And as a foreigner now, I'm considered a foreign investor, and there's all these restrictions that I had. So I ventured into private lending. You set out a large chunk of money, and basically you're the bank, and you make your residuals that way. So it was I tried it with a small amount of money, and then it worked out really well, really favorably. And then I went back in and did that again. So for me, it's real estate, private lending, and then investing in index funds, like I mentioned. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit it on the nail. Passive income is basically letting your money work for you, where you're putting in minimal effort. One of the main sources of my passive income is just through stocks. I'm a big stock guy, trying to get back into real estate. That's a good way as well, but definitely stocks. And for me, I'm actually diverse. So the majority of my portfolio, I definitely have it in, I would say, ETFs, but I do, like, let's be honest, we know what are the blue chip companies. We know what are the companies that are continuing to grow. Just why not? If you know who Michael Jordan is, just put your money in Mike Jordan, LeBron James. So, I'm definitely going with Apple for the long term. I like Tesla a lot. And then I just diversify with the broader spectrum of ETFs, which will cover the broader market or a certain sector of the market. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, so like for someone like myself or like others like myself who are kind of new to this whole world and kind of like this whole kind of way of thinking and stuff, like what are some things to consider for like new people who are entering this world prior to even like jumping into this?
Yeah, I think it's always important it's always like even starting your own business or even like project managing, start with the end in mind. So everyone's goals are going to be different. So figure out what amount that you need in retirement. So let's say it's 1 million, that gives you $40,000 every year for the next 25 years. If you need more than that, okay, 2 million. That means that your bank, your personal bank, needs to have 2 million in so you can take 80 million out for a year without it being depleted. So that's something called the 4% rule. You could Google that up later on, but figure out what your goal is. There's no point in like investing or doing anything unless you know where the finish line is. So establish that, and it comes with a lot of life planning. Now, this is for me, it's like one of the areas that people don't talk about enough is relationships, right? So it's not just what I need in retirement. It's just like, what do me and my partner need? And after you guys have that discussion, okay, this is what we want in 25 years, 30 years, then work backwards. Okay, I got to clear this debt. Okay, I need to start investing X amount. Okay, I have a subscription to Apple and Spotify. Okay, I got to cut that out to meet my savings goal. So that's my suggestion there. Pick your end goal, your finish line, and work backwards.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. From my point of view, I would say it's two type of savings as well. It's, the retirement stuff, which you're not gonna touch. And being an American, if you have some type of professional job, there's so many opportunities, and it's in your favor to invest in these retirement accounts because it reduces your income, which you'll pay less taxes. And then most companies match. I'm talking about if you're putting it in a 401k account, companies will match whatever you put in. So it's to your benefit. But then you also have that investing in general. If you want to get a down payment for a house and all that, what's the quickest way you're gonna get there? By saving and then also having your money work for you. If you think you're gonna save, 30,000, 50,000, just by working your job and it not growing at all, it's like you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't say, hey, in 5 years, my goal is to own my first house. I need a down payment. How about putting your money in an account that's going to grow for you and it's going to help you speed up the process? And it's so many resources out there. If you just look up how to invest on Google, literally there's a website called Investopedia. It gives you everything for free. And nowadays with artificial intelligence, companies are literally like Fidelity's one, I think Charles Schwab is another, where you can invest and you not have any clue what you're doing. And you just set your profile. What's your risk tolerance? What's your goals? If you need your money next year, in 2 years, 3 years, and then they'll take your risk tolerance and then they'll invest the funds for you. And it doesn't even require a huge amount. You can start these accounts for free. So you could start off in those type of accounts if you don't know what you're doing while you're learning the process. But I think definitely in 2021, there's no excuse for you not to learn. It's free information out there.
Yeah. So let me translate that for my Canadians out there. So a lot of companies have RRSP matching. So it's literally free money. So if they match up to 5%, then you put in 5, and then that's a free money into your account. But in terms of the autopilot things that Mike was talking about, he got Fidelity down there. I think Robinhood has those portfolios as well. But in Toronto, we got Wealthsimple. I'm sure you guys seen the billboards for those. Wealthsimple is a good one to start with, as well as Wealth Bar. But if you want like something dumb easy, just go to Tangerine. Like, they got a pretty cheap MER that's called management exchange ratio, which is like 1.09%. That's what they charge to manage your portfolio. So during the year that you're doing it actually just takes a couple of weeks to really dive in, Google some websites like Mike mentioned, check out a couple podcasts. Shameless plug, I think we covered this too. But yeah, just do your research, and then in the meantime, you're putting it somewhere that's going to be on autopilot. You cannot put money in a savings account anymore. So with the inflation, you're just losing money at this point. So there's tons of different places out there to make it investing extremely easy. For like Mike mentioned, the AI component of investing, I think it's actually going to be something that's going to revolutionize how our communities are run. So I don't know if this is like a great reset with this COVID thing going on. Shoot, this might get flagged because I said that C word. But I mean, I think something radical is going to change because a lot of people are waking up. So, it's just like I could trust the government and, do the RRSP way, or I can do it myself. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people are choosing to do it themselves.
Yeah. And another thing is a lot of people that haven't been investing or aren't used to investing, they're always going to tell you, oh, I'm scared. What about if I lose money? If you track the history of the stock market, it's only trending up, and it's going to be ups and downs, but it's only trending up. And it's about time in the market. The longer you're in the market, the safer you're going to be. And especially if you deal with these if you invest in an ETF or one of these established companies that they're automating your profile, they're not going to be risky with your profile. That's not what they want their clients to be losing a lot of money. But the thing with that is on the years like when COVID happened, the stock market was on fire. If you invested in that short drop, man, you doubled your money. Everyone looked like a genius there. But if you were in these automated profiles, when you see people saying, oh, I made 80%, 60%, which is rare, that doesn't happen often. So, but your automated profile may have made 16% during that time. You're like, damn, I want to make all this money. But when it's a year that everything drops or something like that, and everybody's like, man, I lost half my portfolio, those automated profiles, you'll probably lose like 5%. And it'll be right back the next year, You don't run and sell on a loss. Just wait it out.
Yeah.
Dope. Yeah, you guys touched on quite a few good points. Planning the end before you begin. RSPs. For the layman's, the Toronto, the New York, and the Middle Eastern layman's, like how boil down the first steps to like start generating passive income in like 1, 2, or 3 steps. Like, what would you suggest to someone who's just fresh and new and want to get into it?
Well, let me before we do that, let me ask Mike a question about his opinion on this. So I think we have different outlooks on it. So Mike, would you say if you have let's say what's a good amount for student debt? Let's say 20K in student debt. Do you tell your friends to pay off that student debt before they invest?
No, I haven't even paid off my student debt yet. I ain't never gonna get I ain't gonna get their money. But to be honest, no. Like how student debt is in America, everyone has student debt. It depends how much you have. Well, for example, I'll put it out there. I owe like $25,000 student debt, but I ended up refinancing it where it's a 30-year loan, and then it's probably like 2% interest rate. So literally, I pay like $200 a month, which is nothing, And I could have gotten rid of it, but it's nothing. It's only 2%. In the stock market, I'm gonna make more than that. If it was a situation like credit card debt, where it's where my APR is 19%, 25%, I gotta pay that off first because it's hard to guarantee in the stock market. You can make 25% on your return or whatever, but it's kind of hard to guarantee that. On average, they say being, diversified, not being risky in the stock market, you should be able to average out 8 to 10 to 12%. So if your credit card debt is 25% interest rate or 20%, get rid of that first, then invest. But if you got something like a loan or something that's 2%, 4%, you can slowly pay that off and then generate more income,
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
All right, so to get back to SA's point or question, so the layman. So I think number one is to really do some reflecting and kind of look at where your money's going right now. So we talked about student debt. Credit card debt's a huge issue in our community, right? So we got people out here buying stereo systems or Kardashian dogs, and they're paying out these outrageous amount of money of interest. So you kind of have to do a little reflection and see where's the biggest debt is. So like Mike said, I kind of don't feel the same. I kind of want to start knocking off a big chunk of debt before I get into investing, but it's just because of my frame of mind. Like, I don't want to think about anything else, and I go super hard when it comes to investing. I kind of just dump most of my paycheck in so I can hit my goals. But I think step one, see what you owe first, and then take a look at the interest rate, like Mike mentioned. A good rule of thumb is, the stock market's going to generate between 8 to 10% on average. So if you have anything a lot higher than that, then it makes no sense to invest until that's cleared down. So Mike used a number between 2 to 4. So obviously, if you're getting 8 to 10 in return, you can actually even use that money that you're profiting to help pay down that debt as well. So it's called the snowball effect.
That makes sense.
So,
man, at this stage, man, like in 2021, there's no excuses for nothing. All right, so
here we go,
man. Like, get out of here with that nonsense, bro. Walk into a bank and say, "Yo, where do I put my money?" Like, I'm saying, like, Tangerine Bank. I got BMO. BMO has a smart portfolio. You just gotta walk in, make sure it's less than 10K, and then like, what do I do with this? You know what I mean?
I was gonna say the only excuse is when people, it's not even an excuse, but it's when people are like, I need more income. You know what I mean? If you have someone that makes $15 an hour or something like that, it's about, how can you sharpen your skills? And a lot of times it's investing in yourself. How can you invest in yourself, whether it's gain a new skill that's going to be more profitable, that's going to bring you in more income, that's going to raise your salary. That's where it begins too. Invest in yourself. That's the first thing. If you're in a career or in a job that you don't see any growth or it's not going anywhere, invest in yourself to get yourself in a better position to make more income.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, because if you're in a career where there's no growth, there's no point in trying to save unless you can jump out of that. Mike's heavy into tech, so Mike, you want to give some examples of what you've been experiencing with tech lately? So it's a market that's definitely underutilized by our people, right?
Yeah, definitely. If you're a woman, if you're any person of color, we need you. There's not many of us in technology departments and companies at all. And that's why they say, I guess a lot of technology is, I want to use the right term for it, but not racist, but, the people that are creating the tech, they don't, like, a lot of artificial intelligence don't even know how to recognize our features, our color, and things like that.
Hey, can I say something real quick? Can I say something real quick? I am always in a shouting match with my onboard system, because it's racist. For me to get the proper phone call ID, I have to speak in a white voice. If I say, call mom, it's recognized. I'm like, call mom. Sorry, I don't understand. Like, how do you not? It's a different tonality.
That's what I'm saying.
The people thinking I'm crazy. I'm not.
No, it's true. The people aren't designing the technology for us. You know what I mean? So that is a real issue that's going on.
You need a hood
and that's being spoken about.
He also may have anger issues. So you just never know what the actual situation is.
But one thing I can say is the beauty about the tech industry is that you can come as you are. If you have the skills, you can learn it. You really don't even have to have formal education. You can be self-taught or anything like that. If you know how to code, if you're into analyzing data. And another misconception is you don't have to be technical to be in the tech industry. There's a lot of project managers that are there. There's a lot of business analysts that can translate the tech talk into the business world. So you need that. So I think just our people just need to, kind of stop being afraid. And hopefully we have some teachers in here, introduce it to the kids earlier,
For sure.
True. So speaking about teaching, I have 6 terms here that I wanted to run off. It was originally 5, but you guys caused me to add a 6th one. And I just want you guys to explain each of these terms and what are the pros and cons of each. Is that cool? All right. So the 6 terms are stocks, dividends, cryptocurrency, options, NFT, and RSP.
What's RXP? Is that Ripple, Mike?
Wait, RX?
Is it RS or is it RSP or RX? What you
I think he was talking about the registered savings plan.
RSP.
That's a Toronto.
Yeah. So
that's a Canadian thing.
So 401k / RRSP.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's RSP in the simplest terms is retirement registered savings plan. So that's a government program where you can it's based on pre-tax, right? So it can also help lower the amount of tax that you pay yearly. You just have to look at your income. It's income based, right? So everyone has different brackets. So if you want to stay below a certain brackets, then you put in a certain amount. Everyone's amount's different. It's all based on how much you make, but it's pre-tax, meaning when you take it out, then you're going to get hit with a big ding. So it's good in the sense that you get to save money year by year. But ultimately, the government wins, right, when it comes time to withdraw. So if you want to withdraw it a little bit earlier, there are penalties for that. So, you got to really make sure that you're sticking to your plan, or else you got to pay, right? So there's a few loopholes, especially like when you're buying a property. You can take some money out of that and you have like 15 years to pay it back. But yeah, in a nutshell, it's a retirement savings plan that is part of the government investing. So what we don't talk about enough is the tax-free accounts. So tax-free accounts, tax-free account. I don't even know what my amount is. I don't use it because I'm not technically a Canadian citizen right now because I'm overseas. But every year you get allotted, I think, $5,000 or something like that, and the money that grows within your tax-free account will not be taxed. It's not subject to capital gains tax. So
until when you pull it out at retirement, right?
Yeah, so that's good. That's Gucci because everyone's allotted to that 5%. So if your money grows within there, then you can pull it out at any time, and there's no penalty for that. So all right. So next up was cryptocurrency. Mike, what's cryptocurrency in a nutshell?
Cryptocurrency, you guys heard of what is it? Bitcoin, Ethereum. So it's basically some people say it's digital currency. Some people say it's a ledger that stores value. So and mostly, all cryptocurrencies are on a blockchain. So it's kind of building this trustless ecosystem where you trade assets of value, and so that token or that crypto that represents some kind of value or digital certificate. So, for example, for Ethereum, that's one cryptocurrency. They have smart contracts, so you can actually trade. Make a trade on a smart contract where you say, let's make an agreement where if I perform a certain action, I get this value in return. And that's written in the contract. So that gets executed regardless of anything. It doesn't take any intermediate party to, execute that transaction. That happens immediately. And so that way it lessens the fees to do a transaction as well as, whatever's in that smart contract gets done. There's no discrepancies about that.
Okay.
So some people call it a place for storing value. Some people call it currency. I don't see it used as currency right now, even though some places accept Bitcoin, but it's not widely accepted. Mostly people are using it as a commodity like gold.
Yeah.
I
guess from there you can go into like what NFTs are.
Yeah. So and
NFTs are, man. Like we had a podcast episode about it. It still makes no sense to me. Like these random paintings go for $25 million and all this nonsense.
Yeah,
Mike.
Yeah, so now NFTs is non-fungible tokens. That's what it stands for. And right now, people are using NFTs to, I guess, sell artwork, even trading cards. The NBA, they have Top Shop, which they sell NFTs of. It's really player videos, which are, they package it as kind of trading cards, but it's NBA videos, and they mint them. And I'm still confused with this because you can go on YouTube and see that same video that you own in the NFT. So, but I guess it's the opportunity to say that you own something, you know,
I always equivalent
of a digital artwork.
Yeah. I always equivalent it to Nipsey Hussle's album that he sold for $100 a piece, because there was only specific amount of those that were made that nobody has hard copy of. So you were able to purchase it, and you were one of the only people to own that property, right? The music came out digitally, but that could get removed easily. But the actual hard copy, owning it is what he was selling. So you were one of the only, I think he only made like 1,000 copies. You were one of the only 1,000 people to own that actual music besides for him.
Yeah, but so I think it differs because you actually own a physical copy. You know what I mean? Other people can't have it. But if you own a digital medium, like I said, you go on YouTube, you can view it there, you can play it whenever you want. My problem with NFTs, which I think they have to solve for, is if you tell me, so Tory Lanez, he sold his album as an NFT. So if I buy a piece of that NFT and you tell me I own the album or the digital album or whatever, to me, I think how they can improve that and really make this thing blow off the roof is give me royalties now. So if I own part of the album, if it plays on any medium, if it plays on radio, if it plays on YouTube or anything like that, I should be able to get royalties as part owner of that album.
For sure.
And I think if they work that out, oh man.
I think you might see that. I think you might see that change with the Dame Dash selling of NFT, because he sold part of Rockefeller because it was still a company. So he sold off his share as an NFT. So I think looking at it from there, they might start looking at royalty parts after that, because he's not making money off of royalties off of it anymore.
If you look at the wording, because I looked at that, Dame Dash is a hustler.
He's a big hustler.
Yeah,
he's a big
he literally is just selling digital ownership. It has nothing to do. He didn't give away his real ownership.
Percentage. No.
So look at the wording he used and look at how because I looked into it because I was like, man, let me see if I can buy part of the rock. But you're not gonna get none of that with that NFT that's sold. It was all a bunch of BS. He's gonna make tons of money off of that, but it's BS. It's not the real ownership of being part of the rock. Yeah.
All right. So what was the other one? Dividends. So actually we should have. Yeah. So Mike, we didn't talk about dividends as being a passive way to invest, right? So the profits, every company, they have their bottom line, and the profits they kind of give as a reward to the shareholders, so people that hold their stocks. And one of the things is it's called the drip effect. So people that dividends, it's not a ton of money, right? Unless you
have a ton of money.
Unless you have a ton of money, you know what I mean? Unless you have a ton of money in the stock. But we're talking about passive investing, and that's why I like the drip effect. So it's just like the profits from your dividends. So your company, let's say it's you got $5 worth of $8 worth of Ford stock, and they pay out 15 cents for each share, right? So if you have 2 shares, obviously it's 30 cents, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So they pay out at different times of the year. But because it's so insignificant, what you do is on your platform, you set it up so that you automatically buy into new shares, right? So instead of it makes no sense to take that little bit of money out because it doesn't really add up to anything. So you just allow your dividends to just purchase some new stock. But REITs are a little bit different though, right? So REITs pay out a lot higher rate. REITs are REITs. So real estate investment trusts. So by law, they got to pay out a lot more in dividends. So, but those are a lot more volatile. So, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, even Apple has a dividend program, right, Mike?
I think so. Yeah, they just started it now.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say when it comes to stocks, usually there are stocks that actually pay 10% dividend, but they say normally when you look at a company, the higher the dividend that they pay, the riskier the stock is. If you invest in like a Pepsi or something like that, you're also going to make money on the appreciation of the stock. The stock is going to continually go up, and Pepsi's, I don't have it up in front of me, but their dividend is probably like 2% or something like that a year, so.
Okay.
All right, bet.
Dope. All right, man. So both of y'all live abroad right now, which is kind of dope. When did y'all think about that possibility of kind of moving from Sham, Toronto, and Mike from US? Like, when did y'all kind of start that process, and what was that kind of like for y'all?
Yeah, so I think I was in my 4th year of teaching. Graduated, I was fortunate enough to get a teaching job right away. Got a car, bought a house, and I was like kind of thinking to myself, damn, is this like life? Is this it? You know what I mean? So I had a homegirl working in Abu Dhabi, shout out Leanne, and I kept looking at her Instagram or whatever. I was talking to her for a bit, and it kind of changed from why go to a why not. Like I had at that time I was single, had nothing really tying me down to the city. And I said, yeah, let me just go for a year, maybe two turn to 4, and I'm still out here. So I just kind of wanted to, just to shake things up a little bit. I thought I was playing life really safe, and, I kind of just wanted a bit of an adventure. So that adventure turned into a lifestyle that I'm currently living now.
That's dope.
Yeah. For myself, to be honest with you, what happened? Yeah. So I always used to travel a lot. And then I always, when they say when you manifest things or put things in the air, like it really happens. It was around the time I was 29 and I'm traveling a lot. And I was dating my ex at the time. I told her, I was like, man, I would love to live abroad. Like I am going to live abroad one day. And my goal was I actually wanted to live in a Latin American country or Spanish speaking country because I'm Puerto Rican. So, and I wanted it to not only to move abroad just for work or anything like that, but for that cultural experience for me to actually perfect my Spanish on a professional level. So that was my dream. But, when you say, you make plans, but God got other plans for you. So I thought it was a Latin country I'm going to. I never even heard of Abu Dhabi, except for one time on a J. Cole song. And literally from LinkedIn, randomly, a recruiter calls me and like, hey, do you want to interview for this company in Abu Dhabi? And I'm on the phone and I'm like, Abu, what? I put in the Google search. All I saw was Dubai right next to it. And, in our time, in our day and age, we never stay with a company more than 2-3 years or whatever. So I'm always down for an interview. So I'm like, whatever, self the interview. I'm down, cool. And then by the time I found out which company it was a prestigious company. I was like, oh, okay. And then through the interview process, I got more invested. And I had a blessed opportunity that they flew me out there before I even accepted the job. Flew me out there business class. So once the company fly me out business class, I ain't never been business class. You land in Abu Dhabi, it's so luxurious. And I'm from the hood. I'm like, oh yeah, if they take me, I'm going. Saying, hey, I'm in. Yeah. I'm like, if I don't like this, I'm hopping on a plane right back home, no problem. But I was like, I definitely got to try because, like, what's to lose, So.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, kind of talking about like you kind of touched on like you guys being from the hood, all of that, and then going to like abroad. Like, what have been some of the biggest adjustments for y'all personally?
Like Abu Dhabi was I think it was a great transitional city for me because you still kind of you got your Jamaican restaurants, you got your expats. Really? You have like Wayne Wonder flying in and do concerts and all that. So Mike's laughing because it's reggae, but I mean, just like I said Wayne Wonder, not like A-list or whatever. You know what I mean? But
everybody said Wayne.
I only said it because he's coming to Dubai next weekend, man. But just you kind of have those random flashbacks to home. People are always flying in to come check it out, so you don't really feel homesick. So the only thing really missing is your family, really. It just feels like I moved from Toronto to another major city. It doesn't really feel like this big cultural shock, because if you only want to hang out with people that look like you can find that group in Abu Dhabi. If you only like this type of food, you can find that. I mean, I'm in Saudi Arabia now, and it's definitely a country on the come up, but it's not for, what was that Biggie line? It's not for freshmen, only for wise men or something like that. Because you got to be an expat pro to be living out here. You know what I mean? Because
there's
not too many of us. There's not too many of us. Just like, I'll tell you the truth. And Coach, you might have to send it to me, man. I remember jerk sauce. And I was like, damn, I gotta wait till like Christmas time to re-up on this because I can't find this in Saudi Arabia, you know what I mean? So those little subtle things really add up. But when you lived abroad, you kind of get used to certain things functioning a certain way. But one thing's for sure, though, if I came to Saudi Arabia before anywhere else, I think it would have been like a short 2-year stay or something. So Abu Dhabi was a nice experience to get used to living abroad, experiencing different cultures when you travel. That's kind of the thing that's really kept me abroad. It's just like travel is dirt cheap. You know what I mean? So I got a long weekend, boom, hop on a plane, I'm in Amsterdam. Oh, Sri Lanka's over there. All right, cool. What's next? Okay, Cairo, let's see the pyramids. And you do these things where people wait till they're 60-year-old to do. And I'm doing this just because it's a long weekend, you know what I mean? So it really opened up my eyes to just wanting more, you know what I mean? And, Malvern's always going to be there. Like, it's not moving, right? So I could always touch back in Scarborough, if anything. But, there's so many places to go. I kind of like have this running joke to me. Like every time I touch in a new country, it's like, how many Jamaicans have been in this spot? You know what I mean? And I kind of like pat myself on the back with that because I feel like I'm not only what I'm doing in terms of finances, but in terms of legacy. Like I have a son now, and one day he's going to scroll through my Instagram. Hopefully it's still popping. And he's going to see all the places I went. And like, damn, I got to do better than that, And then, his children are going to see that. And like, no matter where in the world I am now, there's always something else out there for me to explore. So that's the kind of legacy I'm trying to leave for him.
For sure. That's dope. Hella dope.
Sure, that sounded deep. I might have to take that sound bite.
Legacy.
Yeah, I'll make that an NFT.
Right? I would say for myself, let me see the transition. I guess coming from New York City, it's an international city. We got everybody there, so it's not really a culture shock. When you come here, even seeing the luxurious things, that's not really a culture shock. When I moved over here, I was 30 years old. So I was already living on my own, doing my own thing out of the parents' house or whatever like that. But when you come over here, it's truly like, now I'm a grown ass man. Because it's just the little things that when you're home and you move away from your parents' house, you're still in your same country. You got friends. You can lean on them for like, oh, how do I set this up? Or how do I do this? So like little things like I got to get my driver's license translated and I got to go in the office and I got to stand on the line where you're with other cultures where they don't know what a line is. And everybody's just jumping in. You're like, yo, what's going on? Like, yo, you disrespecting me? Or This just is just different cultures like that, and just getting things done and going through it by yourself, and even making friends again at 30 years old, as an adult. It's like, damn, all right, we gotta go through this now. Like, all right, let me go to the courts and find out, like, you know what I mean? Like, build from there, and and just those things like that. It just like brings you down, and just that human connection, and just building with people of different cultures, and kind of starting your life over. That was the biggest adjustment, and not having someone in close reach that you're familiar with to just help you out along with that ride. That was the biggest adjustment for me.
That's crazy, because like I'm at the age now where I'm thinking about making the jump. I moved from Toronto to Alberta like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And for me, that was huge for me, man, because like my family, nobody left Toronto. You know what I mean? Like all my homies, it's like, okay, well, they went from Toronto to like the US to go play ball, but it's not like they went out there to go move and live. And for me to move out to Alberta, which is called like the Texas of Canada, it's like, it's it was tough when I first moved out here, but like obviously that's on like a smaller scale compared to like going from like Toronto to like Abu Dhabi. But like I kind of experienced that a little bit when I moved out here. And now I'm at the stage where I'm like, okay, well, I got a daughter. Hopefully I have more kids in the future, but I want to kind of, as Sham, you were saying, like I want them to kind of build off my legacy. So like I never got to go to like Amsterdam. You know what I mean? And like I want my kids to kind of go through that, and kind of I want my kids to be able to go see Paris as opposed to reading that in a textbook and kind of shit like that, So I definitely resonate with kind of that piece of it. But appreciate y'all, man, for sure.
Get a French Kardashian dog.
I'm done with the dogs for a little while. They said that this one I got is supposed to be good for 20 years, so I got a long way to go.
Good investment.
Good investment.
I'll tell you what, man.
Look, that was your Paris flight right there.
I'll tell you one thing, man. A move to Alberta is definitely harder than a move to Abu Dhabi, man. So I definitely hats off to you, man, because that's, for me, I think that would be so this is cold over there, man. Like that's one of the
It's cold.
So that's my thing. I mean, like I don't want to see snow again so that's my new thing. So like a winter vacation every 3 years as opposed to going home. Yeah, honestly, man, I'm spoiled now.
Man, say winter vacation every 3 years. Friggin', I see winter as soon as October hits or Halloween hits. I got winter out here.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
You guys will have winter, spring, summer, and fall in one day.
Same day. Not a week. Same day.
One day.
Same day. Yeah. Wake up in the morning, it'll be cold as hell. By noon, it's like 30 degrees outside. It's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
So we've reached a part of the podcast where we get to promote our social medias and anything else that we might be working on. So we're gonna start with you guys, as you guys are our guests. So Mike, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, follow me on If Mike Was Here. I finally opened up my page to the public. So I got a lot of travel content on there. YouTube is coming soon, and then also my website is coming very soon. So just please check me out there. Support. Also, check out our podcast if you haven't, called the Black Sand Podcast. We're everywhere from Spotify to Apple Podcasts. Check it out, and check us out on IG.
Yeah, so by the time this drops, season 3 for Black Sand Podcast will be kicking off. So just make sure you guys check for that. So one thing that I've been thinking about, talking to my wife a bit, was starting some mentorship, a mentorship program. So, just being overseas and seeing everything that's going on in the city. I feel a little guilty sometimes that I'm not at home like I was to reach back and help out. So on a smaller scale, just two kids is what I'm aiming for, and just to work with them, just build them up. I experienced a lot of setbacks, but I've also had way more victories. So just teaching them how to, move in a room full of vultures, right? Just how to play the game, how to apply to university, how to start it. Man, if I had half of the information that I got, when I was 15, who knows how much I would have right now, right? So if someone just, sent the ladder down like I'm planning to do with these 2 students, then we'll all be in a better place. So as my man Rooks would say, each one teach one, and that's what I'm trying to do. So hopefully people see what I'm doing and they just say, you know what, maybe I'll take this kid under my wing, and then it becomes a way that our community just has our own mentors, right? We got to stop looking outside of the community for that change when we can do it within, even from the Middle East.
That's all facts, man. It's like those, it's not about opportunity. It's just about like giving the next generation like the experience, and then from that experience, that they can create their own opportunity. But
Exactly.
how many hoods in Toronto you see have a tennis court and a swimming pool and shit like that? Not a lot of them. You see a basketball court, maybe you see a baseball diamond, whatever, but you're not seeing no state of the art swimming facility or no tennis court. So for there to be supreme athletes in tennis or swimming or any of that stuff, it's tough because there's not that exposure and that experience there for them. So what you're doing kind of with that mentorship program is great, man. Definitely what needs.
Yeah, and one thing that I always wanted, I always say, man, we gotta kind of always, we don't need to be on the team. Why don't we own the team? You know what I mean? Imagine being, there's the next generation, they could be the Mark Cubans. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
then you could play around. I know you guys like your fantasy basketball, own the team and pick your real roster. You know what I mean? So I think the growth mindset that we have, we just have to completely change. Oh, my kid, he gotta play ball. Nah, he gotta own the team. We gotta think bigger than that. You know what I mean? For the
That's true.
For the moon.
Or how about now? Or how about now? Be the next Rich Paul. LeBron's agent.
Right.
So
facts.
Hey, end of the day, it's
be a vulture.
As Sham said earlier, man, it's why not? Why not go and do that, all that stuff?
For sure.
But yeah,
Coach.
For myself, you can follow me on IG, real_Francis. In regards to what I'm doing now is just at the gym with State, man. We're starting off exhibition season right now, trying to go for that 5P. So,
jeez,
that's about it.
Okay.
Oh, you play pro ball out there?
I coach college.
Man, the man's nickname is Coach Mike. Come on, bro.
No, I'm saying he said in the gym working out.
I'm just working out the
Post
players.
Kardashian.
Just Coach Kardashian. Fuck out of here. Nah, man, just trying to get them back trying to get them ready, man. Because most of the guys, they're all motivated, so they've all been in the gym themselves. But being in the gym and then being season ready is tough after being basically a year and a half off of team sports, man. It's tough. It's tough.
I mean, what age group? What are you
college?
Oh, okay.
So the youngest we got on the squad right now is 19, the youngest. The oldest probably 27, 26, 27 was the oldest. So it's college group, man. We're trying to win all this year. Natties.
Quick question. I know we're wrapping up, but what do you feel the difference is? Or do you think Canada's caught up to American sports? As far as you put your college up with any American college?
No, I'll say this: the top players in Canada, so those top 15%, 10%, those top players can play with anybody in the world. You look at any of those guys, Wiggins, X. You look at any of those guys, the top 15% of the guys in Canada, they can play with anybody in the world. The only difference is that the U.S. has their top 50 can play with anybody in the world. You know, so they just have a bigger sample size, right? So like anybody who's playing D1 basketball, they can play any CCAA, right? But only like maybe 5 athletes were in CCAA right now. So that's our college. Only five athletes from that pool can play D1 ball, right? Oh, whether it be for like skill set or the size, just this raw athleticism, you know, because like in the US, like your average point guard is like 6'2", 6'3". That's like your average point guard. And if you're below that, you got to be like supreme at what you do. So you got to be a supreme shooter or supreme athlete or supreme ball handler. Like you got to be like a supreme athlete, whatever you're doing. In Canada, like our starting point guard is what? This year will be 5'11". 5'11" starting point guard. Our starting center this year, we have a 7-footer this year, but the last 2-3 years we had our starting center was 6'4". 6'4", 6'5". I mean, right? Yeah. So
we shorter is what you're saying.
So that's the whole difference, man. That's the whole difference. But just to summarize it again, our top 15% in Canada can play with anybody in the world.
Yeah, I mean, we got a population of like 37 million. So, you know, the sample size is pretty small. You know, I'll say for Mike, since he don't want to come out and say, he got about 2 years of eligibility left and he wants to know if he can try out. I see him working out in the gym the other day, man, trying to see if he still got it.
The gym. Yeah. Hey,
man.
You're gonna release a video like the Lakers have been doing?
Man, I still got it. I'm actually I got a FIBA 3-on-3 tournament in 2 weeks, so I'm getting ready for that.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yo, that's it.
All right. So I got a podcast with Baritone Levy. We finally are back on the podcast waves. We dropped the episode this last Thursday that passed. So you can check us out on Instagram, Chatter Talks, and our website is www.chattertalks.tv. And the name, because I haven't even said it, is Talks with Chatterbox. And then my personal IG is @ProChatterbox.
Dope. You can check me out on Instagram at The Senator. Don't forget to check out the Not So Soft Pod with myself, Nino Rockwell, Kino the Great, drops every Friday. Don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, and share the Chatroom Podcast. Anywhere that you listen to it, anywhere that you watch it, we drop video and audio the same day, which is every Tuesday. Make sure to follow the Chatroom Podcast on Instagram at @the.chatroompod. Make sure to go check out the Black Sand Podcast because they're on season 3 too, just like us. So we're just all gonna elevate at the same time. And yeah, if you want to be a guest, if you think you have something to offer to the Chatroom Podcast, email us at thechatroompod@gmail.com. And that's about it for plugs on this one. So we just want to take the time out to thank the Black Sand Podcast for joining us. Great conversation, some ridiculous jokes, and now we know that there's a new Coach K. And but yeah, so this has been the Chatroom Podcast, your favorite baller's favorite podcast, and we are out. Peace.
Appreciate y'all. Thanks.